Hey guys, my name is Matimio, and welcome to another episode of Sunday Mailbox. This is a video series where you, the viewer, can submit your gaming or Battlefield-related questions, and then I will give my humble opinion on them. To get the format out of the way real quick, if you would like to submit your own question that could be featured in an upcoming episode, you can do so by leaving a comment down below, or by sending me a Facebook and Twitter message. The first question for today is, what do you think about Battlefront costing $110 to play the full game? Well, admittedly, the first time that I learned about this $50 season pass, I just chalked it up to being par for the course for EA. They've been doing it a long time in the Battlefield franchise, and with reasonable success. Like, it's probably made them a boatload of money, and I wasn't surprised that they're trying to pull the same stuff with Star Wars Battlefront. At its core, though, it is terribly anti-consumer. Some people might argue, wait a second, if you picked up all the DLC individually for $15 and there's 4 of them, you're actually saving money with this premium service. And while, yeah, that's true, and I guess you could make a very small argument in favor of EA, realistically though, you are taking a gigantic gamble by putting down $50 even before the game has been released. We don't even know if Star Wars Battlefront is going to be any good. Sure, we have an idea because we were able to play the beta for a couple of days, but that might have been the best of the best. Who knows, maybe the reason why they had us play on Hoth Walker Assault was because that was the best that they could provide. Maybe all the other game modes are awful. Maybe there's only going to be 8 guns in the game. Who knows, maybe the customization isn't going to be all there. Maybe the spawn system on all of the other maps is going to be hot garbage, much like it was on Hoth. We don't know because we don't have the full game in our hands. And so not only do we not know if the base game is going to be any good, but now we have to roll the dice about putting down another $50 on a DLC that we don't know anything about. Like, that's entirely anti-consumer. And so if you are interested in picking up the season package, because I know some people love Star Wars and they're going to buy it anyways, but my main advice is to wait for the first DLC to launch and then make your decision. If you look over at a game like Battlefield Hardline, it is a prime example of why this is a terrible idea. I've had a lot of people come up to me saying that they thought that Hardline was going to be the next big thing. They thought it was going to be an amazing Battlefield title, and they put down the $110 for the season pass plus the base game. Now, though, because they're playing on PC, they literally threw their money away. They thought that they made a terrible investment, and for the most part, they did make a terrible investment. If you want to play on all the new DLC, while I would say that their most recent one is a lot of fun, there just isn't the community to sustain those servers. You get a couple of days of enjoyment, and that's it for that DLC content. The third one is even out. The fourth one isn't anywhere near to be completed, and I can only imagine that the community is going to be non-existent, and so that $50 literally is going down the drain. And while I would be very surprised if Star Wars Battlefront went the way of Battlefield Hardline, like, I don't think that's gonna be the case. Like, Star Wars is gonna sell like hotcakes. People are gonna be playing it for months simply because it is a Star Wars game. But even still, we don't know. It might go the way of Titanfall. It might go the way of Battlefield Hardline. We have no idea, and it's just another reason why this is a terrible consumer practice for putting $50 down when we don't even know anything about it, let alone if the community is going to be thriving at that point. And so overall, if you can't tell, I am not in favor of this $50 season pass whatsoever. I'm sure it's making EA a lot of money. I'm assuming that's the reason why they're doing it, but I was hoping that they were going to be able to find another way of funding and creating this DLC. That's just my 2 cents though. The next question comes from Snells, and it is, would you want there to be a way to customize the color of your blaster shot in Star Wars Battlefront? Well, admittedly, I don't know enough about the Star Wars universe to know the exact reasons why the different blasters are the color that they are. I did go online to try and figure it out, and at least according to Wikipedia, they said, at least in the films, the reason why there was like a green blaster to a red blaster was that it made it easier to identify which side it was. So if you saw like one color, it was the Imperials, while the other was the Rebels, and that was just the way that they did it in the cinema. And so if it was arbitrary like that, and that was the only reason, and there wasn't a lore behind it, then yeah, absolutely, I think this could be an amazing way at customizing your character. But if it is indicative of the weapon that you're using, and there's a reason or a story behind the color for that blaster, then I would be surprised if DICE gave us that customization option. They are trying to make this as true to form, as true to Star Wars as they possibly can, and if this goes against the lore, and if it goes against what makes Star Wars Star Wars, and there's no reason for us to be able to customize it that way, then I would be surprised if they did give us those options. That said though, there may be different blasters with different colors because it does make sense in the grand scheme of things or in this universe. It may actually be a great way for us to understand what type of blaster that we're going against. If we see green lasers fly down range and we know only one weapon has that green color, then we're gonna have a better idea of how we should approach that situation. Maybe this blaster is terrible up close and it's only really good at long range combat. You can then take advantage of that information and close the gap on your enemy so that you have the advantage. And so while I think it would be pretty cool to have like 4 different colors or something like that for customization on your blaster, it may not be actually in the game. I would be surprised though if there wasn't different colors for some of the guns. Like I really do think that at least a couple of them will have a different color. You may not be able to customize them, but I would be surprised if that wasn't available in Star Wars Battlefront. The next question is, do you think that in Battlefield 4 they should make the smoke grenade, flare, and flashbang a tactical grenade which you can carry alongside the lethal grenades like in Call of Duty? This would allow everyone to counter the FLIR/IRNV optics and also use the smoke for cover. Well, I'm always under the mindset that you should never add anything new to a game to counter or to balance something that's already in the game. If you keep doing this and you have this type of balance mentality, your game is going to be bloated with nonsense by the end. If you keep adding in new and different mechanics to try and balance out something that you just added on in, you're going to run into a lot of problems. And so that's the first reason why I'm not really in favor of this change. The other reason is that this would just lead to more grenade spam. DICE has already done a lot to reduce the amount of spam in this game, but can you imagine the amount of flashbangs, smoke grenades, and then lethal grenades that are going to be flying down range? It is going to be pure chaos. We already have a big issue with this on smaller maps like Operation Metro and Locker. Now imagine everyone running around with essentially 2 more flashbangs or smoke grenades that they can throw down range, and then their normal lethal grenade. Like, it would be crazy. It would just be insane at that point. And while I do like the idea of more people using the tactical grenades, like if more people use the smoke, especially if you're playing on Rush, it would be a godsend. Like, especially when the new patch notes go live and the smoke grenade is now going to be able to be used tactically and not just a cheesy way of taking out your enemy with the Iron V and the FLIR, they are going to be much more effective on the battlefield. And if more people just simply used it, I think that's a good thing, but just giving people basically more grenade options or having more at their disposal does not seem like the best way of handling things. Maybe you guys will completely disagree with me. Maybe you think this is exactly what needs to happen in Battlefield to get people to use these non-lethal grenades. Everyone likes to use the frag because it has the potential to kill. Everyone likes to see a nice kill notification pop across their screen, and while the smoke grenade can be very effective for your team, it doesn't have that instant gratification that all of the others have. And so this might be one way to get more people to use it, but my gut is telling me is that we don't need more grenade spam. But yeah, guys, that is about it for today's Sunday Mailbox. I hope you enjoyed. As always, if you would like to submit your own question that could be featured in an upcoming episode, you can do so by leaving a comment down below or by sending me a Facebook and Twitter message. But until tomorrow, guys, have a good one and take it easy.